everybody, Flik here, welcome to Let's Chat, my weekly vlog series posted every Monday at lunchtime if you're in the UK. And if you didn't see on Twitter, you won't know that CR was over in Scotland visiting family, and we actually arranged to meet up for a day. So we did, we met, we also saw a movie, and we recorded some stuff together. It's going to fit into the regular schedule though, so we did a couple of Rebirth runs, so you'll see those quite soon, one of which is ridiculous. The way that the run goes, the synergy we ended up with, and the whole co-op thing is very nice. I wish it was online because it was really fun. We also recorded an hour of Crawl. I covered Crawl in my Let's Look At series if you aren't familiar with it. It also is local co-op only, which is a great shame because it would be so good if it was online. But anyway, that was fantastic fun as well. I also just got Skyped. We tried to do co-op Nuclear Throne. We couldn't get it to work. The controllers that CR was using was totally fine, but when we activated the controller, the keyboard just went nuts, and I just couldn't get it. We couldn't get it sorted, and into time. We didn't have a lot of time through here, so we had to make do with the time we had. So yeah, 2 Rebirth runs, an hour of Crawl. You'll see CR and I playing. He was visiting the house. He got to meet Maya. He might post pictures of the time he was here, I don't know. If you look on my Twitter, you'll see a picture of us standing with a very intimidating looking crocodile. Let me quickly reply to that Skype message so I don't get interrupted again. What does that even mean? Give me... How long will we be? Let's say 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Just recording... That's not how you spell that. Just recording a vlog. There we go. I bet I will hear it again saying, okay. Anyway, so yeah, we also went to see a movie. It was the first time I've ever seen a movie in 3D, incidentally. I think I'm going to blather about this in a Rebirth run next time I record one of those, so I'm going to save it for that. However, there's one thing I want to talk about the trip to the cinema that I went to see with CR and my sister, because it requires a visual aid, so bear with me one second. If you look at this, my sister was telling me about this before we went. She was saying, oh, that was a massive blur there, I guess, because I leant back. She was saying that there was this thing that the cinema we were going to through in Stirling does called Ice Blast, and she'd saw people on her Facebook just singing the praises of this Ice Blast thing. So I thought, right, okay, I'll have it. And I did, and I took the leftover container as a souvenir. Look at the size of that. That was filled with Tango Ice Blast cherry flavour, which was very nice. But what the hell was it? It's just it's a fancy slushy that I swear I think they put antifreeze in, because it stayed ice cold for the entirety of a 2-hour, 10-minute, whatever, however long the new Avengers film is. It's over 2 hours anyway, for sure. It stayed freezing cold the entire way. And yeah, it's just like a fancy ass slushy that has like this weird fizz, and they put antifreeze in it, I swear. The reason I wanted to show you though is also, that's the size of my head. That's a lot of liquid to hold in your bladder for the duration of a film, let me tell you. But the reason I wanted to show you is because I kind of caught on to their marketing ploy when I was looking at it and thinking, oh screw it, I'll just buy this. This is the only cup for this Ice Blast thing they have on display. All over the concession bit where, you know, you buy your snacks before you watch the movie. That's the only one they have on display, so you would assume then this is the only size they offer it in, which cost just under £5. I think it was £4.20. In fact, I have the receipt here somewhere. Oh yeah, hang on. Yeah, right. It cost... Oh, it was even more than that. It was £4.60. Well, sorry, it was still under a £5, but I was thinking I was actually saying that a little bit high. It was £4.60, so almost £5 for that. And then after I'd already bought mine, my sister was kind of reading the small print, and there is mention of smaller sizes. They just keep them hidden so that you just go for that thinking it's the only one on offer. That said, it was nice. You go in knowing that cinemas are way too expensive these days. I haven't been to the cinema since Star Wars Episode 2, which I believe was about 10 years ago, so I went in expecting it, but it was a special occasion. We had CR for one day, so I thought, why not? We'll just go all out, and to hell with the cost. It was fun. I really enjoyed it, but I'll speak about more of that in the next Rebirth run I record after I record this. When that'll fit into the schedule, probably a few days after this one. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show off. Other than that, we're just going to go through the questions and comments on last week's Let's Chat. Don't have anything much else to talk about, although actually what I could bring up is, oh, for one, actually, I got sent a little collage picture by someone who added me on Steam. Thank you very much. I can't remember your name offhand, and I don't really want to have to look right now. I'll quickly look while it's displayed on the screen. Just kind of a mishmash of all kind of bits from my channel, so I promised that I'd show off, so there you go. And where is your name? There it is. Oh, you've got a long name. It's LTR666 Blue Dragon, otherwise known as the Deadpool something or other in my comment section, I think. Deadpool Warrior sounds familiar. I'm not sure. So yeah, there was that. Also, last night I vented a little bit in the form of writing an article. I used to do this all the time when I was writing for Critical Gamer. I did reviews and I did opinion pieces. It's the closest thing I've done to that in quite some time. So on my website, fliksgamingstuff.com, if you go to the blog section, you'll find a blog entitled something along the lines of How to Make It on YouTube If You Are a Piece of Shit. And I did that as a semi-satirical, but also sadly true look at how you can very easily find fame, or rather generate income, on YouTube if you're a gaming channel, if you are devoid of morals, if you have no ethics, no sense of what is right, you just don't care, if you're only interested in making money. And as I say, I meant it as a kind of satirical piece, a little bit of venting, because as I said in it, I kind of have been keeping a close eye on a few channels that I was noticing exploding in growth beyond me, even though they started under me. And I noticed a recurring theme in the content they all three were kind of drifting into that made this growth happen. And it's depressing that it works. It's a shame. You're not entitled to anything if you do the right thing. So I'm not complaining about it in that sense. It is slightly depressing though that the things I lay out in that article work. So if you are interested, go to the website and check it out. If you don't care about that kind of thing, don't worry about it. Also, I am not saying you should absolutely do any of that. I'm saying it's deplorable and that you shouldn't, because you're a piece of shit if you are doing those things. But I'm just pointing out that people do it, and sadly, it has a very high chance of working. More so than trying to do things honestly. And that's not a good thing, but that's the way it is. Anyway, let's get on with the comments. I actually already have them up on the screen, but you couldn't tell because my face wasn't white. Again, the black layout for YouTube, the plugin for Firefox, is amazing. Love it. So to go back to the first comment, it's from DRC97. May I hear the Devil Joe trying to take away her control? Oh, the little toy Devil Joe I was playing with last time, right there. And wishes to distract Flik from the voice of the Devil Joe. Suddenly a mini Giganox attaches itself to the top of your head and you cannot get it off. What do you do? If I can't get it off, what exactly can I do? That? Is that what you're looking for? I don't know, does it add like a brain slug from Futurama? Would I be forced to join their cult of Giganox? I don't approve of that, that's gross. That's nightmare fuel. Mr. Trigger Happy, would you rather fight 3 pink Rathian, 5 red Kezu? I would rather fight 5 red Kezu because I don't actually find them difficult to fight, as opposed to pink Rathians, which I do find difficult to fight. I just don't like Kezu. I don't like its walking penis face design, the unsettling nature of it not having music, the fact it does have like one bad combo. Actually no, the red one, does the red one do that? I don't think the red one has the combo where it'll paralyze you then flop onto you that the regular one does, because he more works with like, he leaves behind little mines that explode when you're in AoE. No, it's regular Kezu I hate more than red Kezu, if anything. Dragonakis says, hooray for unshaven. Well, today, well, yeah, a little bit, okay. I shaved just before CR was here, actually. Had to look presentable. He didn't shave, but whatever. Alex Rowley says, that's right, Flicky, burn the house down. That's exactly what the leprechaun tells me. How did you know that? Robert Walsh says, you talk about a retail job. What type of retail was it? I used to work in clothing and I hated it. I've had quite a few retail jobs, actually. If you mean my most recent one that I often refer to as the one which made me like hate myself, and I tried to get out of it as soon as possible once YouTube started being even slightly viable, I was working in a health food shop, by which I mean they lie to people to sell pills that claim to make you thinner when really they just act as a diuretic, you know, that kind of bullshit. Aromatherapy, crap like that doesn't work, but if the placebo effect kicks in, it will work, and you get trained to be a better liar as a result. Yeah, I hated myself when I worked there. That's the most recent job I had prior to trying to make YouTube work. I kind of was still doing YouTube at the same time, and then YouTube started earning me more. So I thought, I really love creating videos. I really hate myself working in this retail job. The choice was obvious, so I tried. That said, other retail jobs I had, my first ever job was working in a bookstore. I've worked in a supermarket. Tried my hand at the family business, although that was more of it's a trade, not a retail kind of thing. But yeah, I've had quite a few, but the most recent one was that. I also worked in a nice shop where you sold like dried fruits, nuts and sweets to people. That's probably my favourite retail job of the jobs I've had, because it was honest. If nothing else, it was honest. And sadly it got bought over by the health food chain and we got forced to work as that. Yeah, and don't doubt that the people are rigorously trained to work for those shops to lie better. I think I've told the story before, but I used to try and deliberately put people off from spending ridiculous amounts of money on pills that will do literally nothing. But sadly, more often than not, what would happen is they'd think I was playing devil's advocate and it would actually convince them more, and it kind of became a shtick that I fell into by accident, and I hated it even more. And the tipping point I also spoke about before, I think in maybe my 2000th video, a very nice lady who came into the shop a few times was stocking up on this magic honey. I'm doing bunny ears a lot today, but you know, when you're talking about bullshit like this, you have to. Magic honey. And I asked her why she was buying so much honey. She said she had a brain tumour and she was hoping that it would cure her. And that was the worst day of my life. And from that very day, I desperately wanted to quit. So I'm very glad that YouTube gave me that opportunity without having to resort to being unemployed. That said, it's hard to make it work, but I would much rather try and make this work than resort to doing what I was doing. Also, you didn't really ask that, but I'll put it this way, I worked in a retail job that was worse than clothing, but in general retail jobs are hard because you will see the ugly side of the public, because they will treat you like shit now and then, and if you do the same to them, you will be fired. They know they are in the position of power, therefore certain people, bad people, will exploit that power, and you have to put up with it. That said, you might also get to meet very lovely people, either the people you work with, or just some regulars that come into the shop. There is nice people as well, it's just, you'll remember the bad ones more, and that's a shame. But anyway, Jason and Nino, one of my high school teachers was so bad at treating us like kids, she made us call home. Stop spamming me on Skype. Alright, you're leaving, okay. Okay, ta-ta for now. That's right, I don't just pretend I always end my conversations with that, I do it for real. Anyway, one of my school teachers was so bad at treating us like kids, she made us call home if we missed our homework assignment that day, so everyone just called their own phones to get it done. She got fired after half a year, ouch. Made you call home if our homework assignment for that day was... That's just a waste of resources. Oh well, she got fired, so yeah, I don't agree with that myth. I mean, I'm getting spammed on Steam, oh, for goodness sake. I won't go into detail. I'll just very quickly say to the person, recording, can't talk. Don't worry, it's none of my regulars. It's just someone who really, really wants me to play Pokemon with them. Kunoki! Teachers play a big role in whether you like a subject or not. This is absolutely true. I remember having this terrible music teacher when I was younger. Thanks to her, I hated music. It was about 10 years later that I rediscovered music myself and started playing. That's true, I actually hated my computing teacher in primary school, which put me off that, but luckily I was so into computers that I forced myself through it. Had a nice art teacher, had a nice English teacher, had a nice French teacher even though I wasn't into French, had a nice history teacher, Mrs... oh, I won't say her name, but I can remember it. Yeah, I had a lot of nice teachers. I think that really helped in like the early years of school. Grinning Owl, I'm really confused. My comment from last week is gone. I know I posted it weird. Did it have a link? Did it have an offensive word? Did it have Godwin's Law? Did it have a spoiler? Any of those things could get it trapped in filters or just removed by the... Not the filters, what's the other thing YouTube has? Not spam filter, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. There's two layers of protection on a channel. The automated stuff that YouTube does and then the stuff the channel owner sets. I don't think there was anything sitting in my approval list for comments that I have to approve first before they would go visible, but the most obvious one would be if you had a link in it. So that would be removed without me having to do anything. I assume you've just pasted in what you might have said, although it doesn't seem like it. What did you say in it? And we can see. So you say, high school teachers seem to be a universal pain. High school would be the equivalent of secondary for us, I think. I nearly got sent to detention once after accurately correcting a science teacher 3 times in a row. The only thing that saved me was the fact that all my corrections were correct, and a surprising majority of the class defended me. I made an enemy that day that I never had to worry about again after I moved to the next grade. College teachers were a bit so-so. I had a few really good ones, a few really bad ones, and one that kept me after class because I was teaching him tricks in... oh, read more. in Photoshop even though he was the Photoshop class teacher. I found college to be fine, even if I didn't particularly like one of the lecturers. Just being treated like an equal is liberating when you feel like you weren't being treated that way in whatever education you were in before. I had a similar experience in college once. I can't remember the name of the system. It was one of the units for my computing degree. It's when you get given a list of data types and you have to organise them in a way that would make logical sense if they were a database. There's a word for that and I can't remember what the word was, and it's a very complicated thing to teach and explain to people if they just don't have the kind of lateral thinking required to see a list and just think, alright, so a database would go whoop, da, 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 and that makes sense. This is how they all link together. For whatever reason, it just clicked with me and I could look at them and do them instantly, and I just rocketed through it while the rest of the class was struggling. So the teacher used my answers because I went ahead of her as well to mark everybody else's, and it was actually very nice because her and another teacher complimented me afterwards. I can't explain it. Like, the class during the break was like, well, can you explain what you're doing because we don't really get it. I honestly couldn't. For whatever reason it just clicked. Maybe it's because I like logic, but I wish I could remember the name. I know I have a notebook on it somewhere. But yeah, it's fun when that kind of stuff happens. The internet is the next comment. That's right, the entire internet. Now all you need is a very good carving for real life. I would love that. If it actually said the thing, if there was a button on it you could press. Why hasn't Namco Bandai done that? Stuart McKay. Yes, the Scottish vote has made an incredible impact on the Westminster establishment and something the SNP thrive on. Even though I like the SNP, I find it sad that the other parties have been wiped out in Scotland. Not technically true, there was one Labour constituency. It's weird to think that the SNP are the third largest party in the UK. Yeah, that is rather disturbing, although comparative to the other two, we're still very small. Love your Dark Souls videos, they're awesome. Thank you very much. Also, I assume you're in Scotland, not just based on your name, but based on your comment. You seem to know a lot about what just happened in our general election. I won't dwell on it though, because I know most people are not interested. Dragonakis, again. Have to admit, I'm liking the face cam, makes the Let's Chats much better overall. I'm glad you think so. I also like being able to show off visual stuff now and then, because that's something I obviously couldn't have done before if I was still just using text and, you know, well, I could use photographs I suppose, but that isn't quite the same thing. It makes it a bit more personal on the channel without, you know, having to resort to the kind of stuff I was whinging about in that article I wrote last night. You know, taking a photograph of your face making this expression, and then doing, you know, stealing an explosive .jpeg from the internet, putting it behind you, and then going like, oh my god, it's something. I really don't want to ever do that, and if I do that, I'll know that I've fallen so far I can't be saved. But as far as like using a camera for, you know, interactions like this, I find that fine, because this isn't about a game. If you're watching this, it's because you're interested in just what's going on with me, and that's very flattering, by the way. But that means I don't mind using a camera. But if I was just recording myself playing a game, I don't need a bloody, you know, picture of myself in the bottom corner just kind of going like that while I play the game. I don't. That's pointless. To me, it adds nothing. I know it's to make you more personable to your audience. Do it with your goddamn personality. They don't need to see your face, in my opinion. Which sadly might be the minority opinion of in that particular era. But anyway, Red Knight, you are currently inside your worst nightmare, and the only thing that can make it worse happens. What do you do? Oh, hang on, you've got a second comment here. Are you assuming you know what my worst nightmare is? Chacha is leading a group of alright, so far so good. Chacha is leading a group of Giganox and Kezu surrounding me while chanting one of us, one of us, one of us, one of us inside Shrine of Amana. That's a pretty good indication of a pure nightmare. So hang on, so you're saying this is a nightmare and then the only thing that can make it worse happens. What do I do? What you should have asked is, given this scenario you've laid out, what could possibly happen that would make it worse? What could make that situation worse? Oh, wait, I almost had something. Wait. Ah! A monster that can fly appears that will constantly windsweep you. Kushala, another person talking to me on Steam. Son of a bitch! No, you can't ask a question right now, sorry. Recording right now, can't talk. Yes, I should go into busy while I record, but you would know, well, you should know if you've watched a few of these, rarely do I get interrupted by more than one person that isn't Dragonakis. Anyway. I said talk later, they said yeah but, and then went on to ask this question. I'm just going to appear as offline. There we go. Spherical Cube, RE the election thing. I know, boring. Okay, we're still going to do this because I'm interested in other people's opinions on this. Because of the election system in the UK, winner takes all for the permanent seats in particular voting districts, a small amount of votes extra for the SNP from people who voted against Scotland independence should suffice for a large amount of SNP MPs. So perhaps these people did not want to be independent but do prefer a strong Scottish president. Alright, so this is your explanation as to why did 55% of Scottish people vote that we remain in the UK, and yet the party that wanted us to be our own country win by an absolute landslide that's never happened before, ever. You make a good point. They want us to have more power but don't want us to be our own country. I can understand that angle. Yeah, I get it. To end on a lighter note, Devil Joe Cha Cha, Raffarang? Oh, Rajang, Chocky Wocky Doodle Dump. What? I'm going to read it all out. Devil Joe Cha Cha, Ran Farang, Chocky Wocky Doodle Dumpling with lightning magic. Sorry, I know absolutely nothing about Monster Hunter, but I thought I'd try. Good effort. I assume you meant Devil Joe Cha Cha, Rajang, Chocky Wocky. Oh, Shakalaka, maybe. Is that what you meant there? And Doodle is just what the guild marm calls you. Dumpling, I'm not sure. I'll thumb up your effort. That was a good effort if you're not familiar with any of the like lingo for the game. Tervo, I missed watching these Let's Chats. It's nice to hear you break off on tangents. That's happened quite a few times already today as well. Anyway, did you like the 1 cent I added to your total Patreon donation? Every little helps, thank you. I hope you spend it well. You walk in on a tea party between... What is it with this Kezu and Giganox obsession with everybody? This is getting ridiculous. You walk in on a tea party between a Kezu and a Giganox. Both turn to you and instantly turn frenzied and then enrage. Who do you choose for backup? Cha-Cha with the bombing mask or 3 bombing palicos? Show your work. I actually have never used a bombing palico, so I don't know if they act the same way as Cha-Cha did with the bomb mask in 3 Ultimates, so I honestly can't answer this yet. Does anybody watching who also plays Monster Hunter, do they have experience with the bombing cats? Do they act just the same? Is it like when they're enraged rather, they plant the big bombs, and when they attack normally they just do nothing but chuck little bombs that will often send the player flying? If so, let's assume that is the case. I don't know, but let's assume it is. This is for backup. I would take the 3 bombing palicos, because that would make it easier to win. Also, it is worth pointing out, anytime a player hits you, or, you know, a Shakalaka or a Palico hits you, you don't take damage. And if they actually send you flying with an explosion, the good side is you're invincible to damage that would actually take off your health from the monster. So there is an upside. So having 3 of them sending you flying as well while they do damage to the monsters, you'd basically be invincible. It'd be painful, but you'd be invincible. Masamune says, I missed a Devil Joe patron shout out. Yes, you did. Of all the months for a credit card to expire, it had to be this one. I apologise. Well, I can make one of the other monsters do it next time. The Rajang, he's a bit loose. I don't like a Cantor now because I've fought one. I haven't fought it yet, but the day after I record this, we will be. Molten Tigrex, he might do the next patron shoutouts, we'll see. Or it could be the Devil Joe just because he's evil. He's the devil on my shoulder. But I need an angel now to offset that, otherwise I'll turn evil. Oh dear. Iron Paladin left a couple of comments. Flik, you have a Devil Joe that tells you to kill people too? Small world. Nobody can see mine though. I call him Fred. We have tea parties, but the White Rabbit can never make it. I get that reference. And then you said, I'm glad you like my drawings. If I ever have artist block again, I'll be sure to do this again. By all means. Don't take some of the suggestions people gave last time though. That would be a good thing. The Silverhawk 08 says horse. I'll thumb that up. Reaper, who now also has kind of started his own YouTube channel if you're interested. He's been uploading some PS4 captured Scholar of the First Sin footage of him killing various bosses. He found he found a message that pointed him to a point in the second DLC where if you roll into a wall a few times, you will get sucked out of the map and instantly killed, which is quite funny to see. The Devil Joe was the Devil Joe was evil, made me die and everything. Not much to comment on this time. I hope this goes live before that episode where you did actually die, finally, on camera. Yeah, actually, it will have been up, I'm pretty sure. Also, as happy as I was rather that the Devil Joe music didn't seem to get claimed on, the Darren Moran music still is, so I'm back to sadly fighting copyright, or illegitimate copyright claims, on one video where we fought another Darren Moran. I should have known better. I think I've shown that fight enough times that I don't need to worry now, even though it was it a G rank one or was it just the high rank one? Either way, we killed it quite quickly. The final comment It's from Nicodemus82, and he has written something in Japanese, but then he did a hiragana version, and he says, hope you can understand. Alright, here we go. No pressure, no pressure. Nihon go no Benkyu Gambate ne. I believe that is saying good luck learning Japanese, or do your best learning Japanese, right? I think that's what you said in the first part. And then you said Uen shite masyo. I don't know what that means. That might be another way to say good luck. I mean, I can translate it, probably can't pronounce it properly, but I don't know what the second bit means for sure. I know you definitely said Nihongo there. I hope I was close. Let me know. I don't know the second word. But anyway, that is it. That is all the comments gone. Oh, we have 2 new comments actually. Let me just make sure one of them wasn't on this video. It was not. Good. So, next time, I'm not sure what we'll be doing. It's been quite a while actually since I've shown off a game from my drawer of retro games. So, I might do that, but also, I might also... I said also twice there. In fact, I will for sure have another weird flavour of Kit Kat show off next time, because I really hope that the Japanese candy for this month would have arrived today. It's probably going to arrive on the day you're seeing this, which is a shame, so I might spoil the surprise on Twitter via picture. But yeah, next time I'm recording one of these, it's going to be another type of weird Kit Kat. I will maybe even try and resist trying it prior to recording so I get my reaction on camera. We'll see. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Thank you very much for your continued support. By all means, go check out that article if you're at all interested in the unethical side of making it on YouTube, at least in my opinion. And I'll see you next week. Ta-ta for now.